Right, it's time now for Tech Rundown.
Tech Rundown.
Yes, indeed, all the way to Sydney, Australia. Davis Fang, good morning, afternoon. What is it?
Hello.
Evening, I can never
It's
work
evening.
it out. Evening,
Yes.
Good evening to you, good sir. How are you?
Good evening, everyone. I'm very well. Hope you guys are enjoying the slight change in time this morning.
Not really. No, it was very confusing this morning. I had no idea what time it was.
It was confusing for me. I didn't know when to come on.
Do you move your clocks at the same time?
Oh, no, I think we're a few weeks behind you guys. And I was only updated this morning thanks to Renee's tweet, so thank you for that.
Is that right? Would you have missed it completely?
Completely. I wouldn't have known.
How brilliant. Well done, Renee. You have a purpose.
I know. Well, I was so impressed with myself that I managed to navigate it, but my car driver didn't.
No, I love that.
Dear.
I love that. Well, you're here now. That's marvellous. That's all marvellous. So this first story is a big one. Now, I didn't know about this till someone texted me yesterday with the same story. Tell us about it.
Well, I'm not exactly sure which story that you're referring to.
So this is Twitter and the
Twitter
verified
one, yes.
ticks.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. So as we all know, Twitter Blue has been rolling out over the past few months or so, but they are finally rolling it out worldwide. And because of this, they've finally found the perfect time to remove blue ticks from legacy accounts. So that includes you and Renee as well. And so you guys both have to pay for Twitter Blue to keep your special blue ticks. How do you feel about that?
Well, so they haven't told us that at all. So I was told to click on the blue tick and it would then tell you...
If it was paid for or legacy.
Yeah, but it doesn't do anything when I click on it.
Oh, no, it does. It says it's a legacy account.
Does it?
Yes.
Oh, well, mine didn't.
No.
Maybe I'm special. So we're going to lose our blue tick, right? And then you have to pay, what, £11 or something a month?
Yes, roughly £11 a month. However, they have announced that this feature, or rather this removal of a feature, will only kick in on April the 1st. So what does that exactly mean?
It's April Fool, is it?
Is it an April Fool's joke? We don't know. So I guess we'll find out.
So that's really interesting. And then the question is, what's the point of having a blue tick?
Exactly, because at the end of the day, it really is quite meaningless if everyone is allowed to have a blue tick, especially how they don't really seem to be looking at IDs, like what Meta with Instagram is doing. So I guess it's just, join the cool club, I guess.
I guess so.
It was supposed to protect people who
From
had
the
positions from a bit of trolling, but also from impersonation and that kind of thing. But...
What the original blue tick
Yes,
you're talking about?
the
Yes,
original.
absolutely. That's right. And so you knew it was verified, therefore the blue tick was important. That's why I don't understand why they'd roll this out. I mean, unless it's just about getting cash.
It is, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely cash because Twitter's been losing money for many, many years now. And this might be a way to turn things around.
OK, let's move on to HP releasing a laptop. I can see Renee rolling her eyes already. This has got a very special... It's got a special feature, hasn't it?
It's a fantastic feature because how often does an HP laptop go wrong? Well, apparently often enough for them to include an actual physical button that takes you directly to customer support. Yep, this is the defining feature of the new HP Dragonfly Pro laptop, and for just $10 a month you will receive 24/7 concierge service that will help you with all of your troubleshooting needs. And you access that by pressing a button, which apparently doesn't even work all the time. So that's just fantastic.
You're really selling this. So basically, another £10. So I've paid £10 for my blue tick. Now I'm paying £10 for a customer button that doesn't work.
I think it's absolutely ridiculous because how often do you guys contact customer support? Like at worst, it's probably like once a year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I have Apples and you can phone them anytime.
Do you need a physical button for that?
Oh, no. This is another ridiculous idea. No, we don't like that one either. OK, let's move on to a smartphone.
Yes. So this week we saw the announcement of the Oppo Find XX Pro, which is an incredible looking phone that's launched in China only for the moment, but may perhaps come out in other markets. But it's notable because it has a ridiculous size camera bump on the back of it. As you can see there, it's in collaboration with Hasselblad, which is this very famous camera company. But like at this point, this camera's got a 1-inch sensor, which is absolutely massive. It's roughly the same size, just slightly smaller than a sensor found in a mirrorless camera. And for example, this camera has a 4/3 sensor, and 1-inch is only slightly smaller. So like at this point, how big is too big? Do we really need our phones to have these massive cameras? Because I'm thinking it feels absolutely ridiculous right now. If we remember the iPhone 4, back in the day, we had a completely smooth back. It was quite lovely. And now we're seeing phones, like this old Nokia over here, with massive bumps. It's just, so what do you guys think? Would you rather have a phone with worse camera but no bump, or
has the phone actually got bigger as well?
No, the phone's actually not bigger at all. It's just got a massive camera bump on the back like this one.
Is it heavier though?
It can be heavier.
Yeah.
They often are.
I mean, my personal feeling is I just want it to take photographs. I'm not really...
Yeah.
I don't need that kind of high definition.
Well, you're going to get to the point soon where you may as well carry around an Olympus with you, you know,
like I used
and
to.
a phone.
Yeah, exactly. So they obviously think there's a market for this.
Yes, obviously, because the smartphone market is becoming so mature now, they're finding it difficult to to have features that appear to be groundbreaking. So cameras seem to be the point of contention right now. Like everyone's trying to outdo each other's cameras, and the only way to really do that is by installing larger and larger cameras.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, let's move on now to this story about moon photography.
Yes, so last week it was discovered that Samsung's latest smartphone, the S23 Ultra, when you take a picture of the moon, it recognizes that it is the moon, and basically it will use its AI algorithms to replace your picture of the moon with a better picture of the moon, because obviously we only ever see one side of the moon, and if you replace it, no one will ever really know, which is it's caused a little bit of controversy online. But this week, the news is even worse because someone took a photo of their baby who doesn't have any teeth yet, and the AI actually gave the baby teeth. At what point does photography stop being photography and becomes just AI art, like AI's interpretation of reality?
So this is really interesting, I think, because there was a story out this week of AI demonstrating Trump being arrested. I don't know if you saw it, and it was very, very convincing footage. And I actually posted that in a group that I'm in, where I said, you know, we will end up at the point where we do not know that anything we are looking at is real, and that's a really sad place to be, I think.
Well, you'll have to have a blue tick on it, won't you? To tell you it's real.
Yes,
I mean,
because Photoshop has always been there, but you know, AI just takes it to the next level.
But I mean, the
accessible.
idea that you give a baby teeth, it's extraordinary.
Although I know that Alice would be very impressed with me if I took a picture of the moon and it actually looked like the moon with craters in the photo. She'd love it.
Yeah, with a little man on it.
Yeah. The moon is her
that
friend.
might be a good example.
And it's made of cheese. Yeah. Oh, that's extraordinary. Okay, fine. Let's move on to Ford.
Yeah, so at the moment, Ford in Europe, they've abandoned the Fiesta, the Focus, the Mondeo, all of their best sellers, and it's all because they are moving towards SUVs. And they've just announced the Ford Explorer, which is an electric SUV that's based on the Volkswagen ID.4. And this is a huge gamble for the brand, as they're seeking higher profit margins by abandoning their traditional markets of, you know, more affordable cars and replacing them with more Americanized, big, massive electric SUVs. And this is just funny because these electric SUVs are supposed to be more sustainable, but they're abandoning small little economical hatchbacks for these massive vehicles with massive batteries, which are obviously terrible for the environment, particularly during the production process.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, it's really interesting. I mean, Renee, you think that's sexy?
Not because it's electric, because it's a really pretty SUV. I mean, I love the really big Fords that they have in America. You know, the Esplanade and all of those.
But I mean, where are you going to park it? I mean, that's the thing. It's all very well in the middle of Middle America parking one of those. How are you going to park that in Brighton or in London or somewhere like that?
No, I'd go for it. If they want me to try one, I will.
I guess we're always willing to.
I guess the problem is that they're replacing efficient hatchbacks like the Fiesta and Focus with these massive SUVs.
Well, you would argue, you're saying that though, but there's no petrol involved here. So what they would argue, and I am not on this song sheet, as you know, but what they would argue is that it's electric, so it doesn't matter how big the car is, it's not emitting anything.
So very interestingly, they're also much heavier, and that's why we're seeing more potholes, apparently. I didn't know that. But also, just in terms of, do we have an idea of range in terms of the range it can do on a single charge?
Yes, because it's based entirely on the Volkswagen, we are estimating that depending on which battery you get, you'll get between roughly 220 to maybe up to 300 miles, but we don't exactly know precisely yet. So that's quite a lot.
I'd go more with 250, actually. And I drive an electric car, and what they say it does and what it actually does, they're not always the same, let me tell you. So that's very interesting. Also, and then there are major problems about how we charge it. If you live in the inner city, of course, there aren't the charging points. And also, there isn't the infrastructure still here in this country.
And don't you have to keep one for 12 years before you've actually overcome all of the emissions and things that go into making it?
Yeah, also there's a problem with lithium, isn't there, which is needed for the batteries as well.
And children are dying in Africa mining for these precious metals, but we don't seem to mind
that is happening.
So you say a big gamble for Ford. What are people saying about this? Do they think it's going to pay off?
Well, a better solution might be to replace the current vehicles with electrified versions, like maybe electric Fiesta or Focus, rather than abandon their traditional markets and go much higher in price. Because do people really want to pay £40,000, £50,000 for a Ford? I guess we'll find out.
We will indeed. Very interesting. Davis, thank you very much indeed. Very good to see you. That is Davis Fang, their tech presenter, and that was Tech Rundown.
Thank you.
Tech Rundown.
Oh, so you're going to get one, are you?
Oh, I do like those. I mean, look, I lease my cars, so I have them for 4 years at a time, and I've only just into my first year of my current lease.
Very good. I think I'm in year 2. So 2 more years.
So we have a way to go.
We have a way to go, yeah.